the astute amongst you will notice immediately what's weird about this. And what I'm talking about is, yeah, well, it's a 253, so it's weird anyway. But look at that. This thing is new. Welcome back, the old two-stroker YouTube channel. My name's Wayne, and today we're going to work on some junk. So I've got quite a treat for you guys. We got to move this thing outside, so we're going to do that. But I've invested in some new camera equipment. I've been terribly disappointed and quite frankly pissed with GoPros ever since I started using them. I don't know if you guys have caught me bitching about them in videos or not, but I'm constantly losing footage because of GoPros, and I almost didn't get that generator explosion on camera.
2,000 years later.
So anyway, enough of that rant. We swapped to a DJI Osmo Action 3, so I'm trying that now, so I'll keep you guys posted with what I think about that. We're also going to get a real nice like camcorder style 4K legit like B-roll camera, trying to up the footage. So this year my goal for 2022 was to get a website up, get merch going, and kind of grow the channel that way. And so for 23, my goal is to upgrade all the camera equipment. And, you know, the reason I'm able to do that is because you guys responded so positively to me getting a website, getting merch, and all that. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I really appreciate it because that's what makes this stuff possible. So I figured for 23, I'm going to give right back to you guys, and every penny that I made is going to go right back into the channel like it always does. But that's the goal. If we could try to bring you better footage and better detail, what I very much don't like is when I go on location and, like, let's say we go to the drag races and I'm trying to film a drag race from 500 feet away on the side of the track, and I have no zoom because I'm using a freaking GoPro. So we need a camera that has actual zoom capability, like a real deal camera. It's a lot of money, but, you know, you guys are worth it, and I'm worth it. So we're going to do that. I haven't picked one out yet, but if you have any recommendations for something you guys use, I'm a truck nerd, not a camera nerd. Also, we got mics. So I've got some mics to go along with this DJI setup, so we're going to try those and see how we like them. Hopefully I can bring you guys some better audio. Let me know how this sounds. It's being recorded right now on the DJI mic. So just trying to give you guys back what you've given me, and that's the way we're going to work here on this channel. I'm not just going to take y'all's money and run. We're going to put it all back into the channel and try to bring you guys more for your money. So anyway, the good thing for me, what I get out of this deal is I get to do what I like to do, which is work on junk. And if you guys are going to watch me do that and you're going to support the channel, I'll keep doing it. I'll try to make it better every time. So if there's something you want to see me do, or a tip you have to make the channel better, please put it in the comments. I read all the comments. I try to respond to you guys as much as humanly possible. It's real hard with a full-time job and doing this nights and weekends. It just doesn't, there's not enough time. So I do try as much as I can to interact with you guys, because that's the part of this I really enjoy. So anyway, enough ranting. the hell with GoPros. We got to get this thing out of the shop, and hopefully we can get it in the weeds. It doesn't go anywhere in the snow, which we saw in the last video. But anyway, we're going to try to get this out of here. I'm done with it for the year. I can't do anything else with this thing this year worthwhile. It's just too goddamn big and unwieldy. I really want to try to get a cab on it, but there's no way I can get that cab even off of here in this building. So scrap it. We got other shit to do. I bought you guys a treat. Let's go check it out. Fellas, this is what I got for you. Well, I'm not gonna lie to you, I got it for me, but I thought you'd also be pretty pumped about it. I thought we'd do a video on it. Now this thing's real special, totally different. I don't have one yet, so let's get the skid steer fired up, get it out of here. And we got to get the hood on the race truck anyway for winter, so I don't really want it. Just the motor being exposed like that, so. All right, fellas. So, the astute amongst you will notice immediately what's weird about this. And what I'm talking about is, yeah, well, it's a 253, so it's weird anyway. But look at that. What is that, you may ask? Well, that, my friends, is a hydraulic starter. And not only is it a hydraulic starter, I have this part in the shed. I have one of those at least. But I've never seen the entire setup complete on anything. So it's complete. It's got the lever to pump it. So you pump this thing, and then you hit this, and it moves the pressure. This charges it, the handle, and then this actually turns the starter, which, you know, turns the engine. Now, I don't know much about this thing. It's been sitting around God knows how long, 100 freaking years. It's got some big goofy pump on it. I don't know nothing about it. Maybe one of you guys can tell me about it. It is ex-military. I do know that. As evidenced by these goofy letters in basically the A-Team font.
The A-Team.
It looks like it's got a fuel pump, like a hand primer pump on it, which will be good. The bad is this is the fuel tank, and the hoses are broke. It's this one here and another one there. It's tucked in. These other two tanks that you see in the other lines are for the hydraulic start. So the way this works is you pump that lever, and it charges. It has an accumulator, so it charges that accumulator out, which stores the hydraulic pressure, and then when you release the switch, that's what it releases the pressure into the starter. So I'm real anxious to try this. I've never had one of these, so I'm real anxious to get into the starting setup, especially. The rest of it's pretty cool too, but that is especially cool. Looks pretty complete other than that. I don't know if this is a trash pump or what. Also don't know what this thing is. I believe it's got something to do with the governor. I'm not sure what kind of governor's on this either. It's something goofy. There's a handle for it over here. I believe it has some kind of oil pressure lockout, so the engine will not start unless there's oil pressure. Because this says hold handle until oil pressure engages shutdown latch or something. I don't know. But other than that, I mean, it looks like a regular old variable speed governor, you know. So we'll have to get into this and see what the friggin' deal is. Oh, it looks like they disabled the start, the pull to start, which is or pull to shut off. I'm sorry, pull to stop. So that's this. Bet that cable's froze. So what we're gonna do is enough talking outside here. I'm absolutely freezing. It's like 0 degrees and getting to be 0 dark 30. So we're gonna lose our light here, and that doesn't make for good footage. So let's get this thing in the shop. Well, boys, we got her in the shop. I figure I might leave the skid steer in here. It's cold outside. Anyway, haven't really done any inspection. We just got it in here. So let's take a closer look, shall we? I'm not too sure what year this is. I just know it's freaking old. It's old enough to have the old logo. Well, looks like the dipstick's right here, so when in Rome. Ooh, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. Where's the full mark? Put you guys down here. Little over full, but it's oily. It's oily. No coolant that I can taste. Maybe some fuel, though. I'm not real sure, to be honest with you. It leaves like a film on the dipstick. But it feels very good. Feels thick. It doesn't taste like fuel. I'll crack the drain plug anyway, just to make sure. But initial signs are good. What else do we have? What else do we have here? Get a look in here, I guess. Nothing. Oh, yeah. There's coolant in there. Can you all see that? Oh, yeah, you can. That's a good sign. Especially for a 53. Hopefully it's in a little better shape than the coolant in the 271. God willing, because this has wet liner. Hour meter. What does that say? Holy shit, no way. Can you guys see that? Is that showing up? 66 freaking hours? Is that right? It is. Boy, she's like new. Well, we're gonna not We're going to not believe that until we get the valve cover off and see what that looks like. What else is easily accessible we can look at? We can look at the air filter, I guess. Seems okay. Lift. Dude, no freaking way. Holy shit. Air filter from 1966? Oh, this coolant's going to be a mess, fellas. That's all I can think of right now is what does the coolant look like? No way, boys. Oh, what a sweetheart. God, it is like new. Holy shit. That's freaking cool. I can honestly say I've never seen a filter from 66. At least not one that's still usable. We got to get a rag. Wait, I have one in my pocket. I mean, yeah, it's a little dirty, but man, the pleats aren't dirty. It's just got kind of oil around the... Look at the... You can tell by the writing it's friggin' old. Look at that. Make sure you're friggin' focusing here. Can you fellers see that? I'm hoping that's... Place light inside element, and if ruptures, pinholes, or damaged gaskets are present, replace. Look at the freaking light bulb they're using. Water washing. Soak 15 minutes in water. An element cleaner. Do not use compressed air. Yeah, okay. Oh, it's a Donaldson. Sick. It's a good filter, boys. We're just going to keep using it. Where's my light? Let's see if it shines through it. Oh, yeah. It's friggin' mint. Perfect. Well, I tell you what. There's no friggin' way. The hours are incorrect. If that filter's from 66. No friggin' way. 66 hours has probably still got the braking oil in it. Wow. We'll see. I'm going to hold judgment until that friggin'... I want to make sure that tach works, and then we'll go from there. It says remove this baffle for dust. Let's get a look at it, shall we? Kind of super duper spiders in here. Nothing. There's nothing in it. There's nothing in it. It's still very rubbery. A little bit of... So I got this thing from Marketplace for friggin' scrap price. And that's where it was headed. So we saved it from the scrapper. Which you guys know me, I'm more than happy to do that whenever I possibly can. But boy, is that a freaking bonus. How does it get air? Oh, through here. And the kid I bought it from said a guy owed him some cash and, or he was renting some storage space to him or something like that, didn't pay him or whatever, and gave him this instead. Apparently the dude was some underwater welder or something. He must have used this to drain something. hell, I don't know. But it's, she's friggin' cool, man. We got to date the engine, so we'll get the serial number. Let's do that next. But I do want to show you something. Get you off the stand here again. And we'll come over here. Look at that. I'm hoping you guys can see that. That is the tag for the pump. 6-inch frame, mounted, dead marine salvage. What? 1,550 gallons a minute? Holy shit. Look at that. 12/1966. Weight 2,000 pounds. Inspected 12/1966. So, unless the motor's been replaced, I'm going to guess there's a 66 serial number on it. I find it real hard to believe that somebody's been into this. That far, anyway. Yeah, there it is. So on the 53s, boys, your serial number, it's always on the passenger side of the engine, on this flat plate. So your model number is, there's two numbers on that tag. There's the model number on the top and the serial number below it. And I don't know, I think we're going to have to either wash that with something to get it wet to make it stand out, or scrape it all the way down. Unless we can find another way of, oh, and this has no blower flap. There's no runaway flap. Oh, unless it's in here. I bet that it's in there. So I think if we take this off, I think we'll be looking at the blower flap, and that's why you got to pull that lever to get it to run. Boy, I wish they didn't frickin' paint it. Oh, son of a bitch, boys. I don't know if you can see it. See the GM diesel? Frig, that probably looked wicked cool. Boy, these engines really get upset when you paint them yellow. Yes! What's that? That's our freaking data tag. That'll give us engine serial number and shit too. Oops, there goes the Frio. Yeah! I've never seen one on the front of the valve cover like that. They're always on the side. I'll update you. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna let this warm up. It's like 30 degrees outside, 20 degrees outside. I think it's 20. But I want to let this get some heat into it, so we're gonna let it sit overnight in the shop here with the heat on, and we'll come back out here tomorrow and see what we got. So I will see you guys then. All right, fellas, back out here looking at this thing. You can see we got a bit of a mess here. All I did was move this handle a couple times, and you can see it's just it is building pressure though, but then that pressure comes right back out, so we gotta, so what you do is you pump this handle, and then this one engages the frickin' starter. Also, the other thing I noticed, that my buddy did look up serial number. It is from 1966, the engine. Idiot, it's right here. I would have never guessed that they would put the engine serial number right here, but pretty cool. They did. Anyway, I gotta release the pressure on that thing. So how you're supposed to do that, supposedly, is loosen this lock nut here. Like so. And give this a little bit of a turn. You know, in theory. Alright, we did get it. It was just a little stucky. I used the hammer time there.
Stop! Hammer time!
So one thing that I don't see on this that's supposed to be there is a pressure gauge for the accumulator. And basically what it tells you is there's no way to really inspect this thing. I mean, it appears okay, but it's hydraulic pressure, so it requires a little bit of caution, you know. I know, it's abnormal for this channel. But so the accumulator is filled with nitrogen here. Behind that cap, there's a valve. And there's a bladder inside, or a piston anyway. And the piston's sealed to the exterior wall of the nitrogen tank, or the accumulator, we'll call it. And so how that works is normally the piston's like wherever, you know, all the way towards the front. And as you pump hydraulic fluid into it, it compresses the nitrogen as it fills the reservoir with fluid. But so there's supposed to be a pressure gauge on here somewhere to watch the pressure rise. So that's inlet, so that's not going to have it. This is outlet, so this should have a pressure gauge on it. You should be able to watch that. So maybe what we'll do is take a gauge and see. Well, maybe we'll be able to see that. But what we need to do is get this off of here and reseal it, because obviously it's smoked. And you know, it's not overly surprising considering this is left out in the elements. This isn't exactly keeping water out of there or anything like that. So I'm really hoping that the powers that be inside of there aren't too rusty and crusty, but we won't know that till we get there. So unfortunately, that's going to be the first step in making something happening with this. And then our next step is, once we get that to work, we need to verify that there's pressure, nitrogen still in that unit. This may be a much longer video than I thought it was going to be. I thought we were going to be able to just, you know, kind of pump the handle a few times and let her rip. I should have known better. I never quite get that lucky. But, I mean, this thing's from '66. I think we could put a gauge off of this just hang it somewhere just when we start it or something like that in the future. But once you get this thing running, it recharges the accumulator by itself through the use of this pump over here. That's what this pump is for. It looks like a power steering pump because it is essentially a hydraulic pump. And then the system, it says the system is designed to sit for extended periods of time and not lose its charge. So it's not affected by weather. It's not affected that, I mean, it says right in the manual that none of this stuff is, it's designed to sit forever, basically. Oh boy. There we go. It's just a reservoir connection. Oh wow, okay. Sick. I thought I was gonna have to like really block that off, but it doesn't appear as though I have to. Alright, so that bolt is going to be a problem. So what I got to do, it's a 9/16 nut behind it. I got the wrench on it, but I can't get in here. So I'm going to take this thing off. Alright. Let's see if that buys us. I think it's just enough room. Yeah, perfect. There we go. There she is. Alright. Let's get her to the bench. First, we're gonna Oh yeah, that's fucking full of water. Great. Not gonna lie to you, I'm a little concerned about the level of trash that just come out of that. Oh, look at that, that's custom. Somebody's definitely been in there. Okay, now this is starting to make more sense to me. Alright, so... Boy, that little thing's heavy. That little bugger's heavy for what she is. We've got to get this in the vise and get these plugs out, because that's where the main seals are. The rest of the stuff's just check balls. So I'm not worried about those. Bingo. Just like that. At least it can. Somebody's definitely been in here. That is not correct. That O-ring. See that? And there's no backup ring on it. Oh yeah. Melty, melty. Somebody's been in here. And they were idiots. Definitely water in it. Alright, fellas. Well, as you can tell, we've got this cleaned up the parts washer. You know how I am. I couldn't do it. So, I cleaned it up, blew it out as best I could. It's pretty clean. The other nice thing is that was the original side there with the backer O-ring. I didn't have one of them square O-rings, but I did have two O-rings that I think will work. They're pretty close to what we got going on here. So we're gonna stuff these in there, stuff this unit back in there, and see if we can't get it to move some fluid. Holy shit, it works. Boys, did you friggin' see that? Oh, plus extra bonus, the motor turns. No friggin' way. Gump, you are a genius.
God damn it, Gump! You're a goddamn genius!
So, well, let's close this. Like that. And then pump her up a little bit. Feel there's resistance there. Watch this. See it move? Dude, this thing is gonna be awesome. Now we know we've got that somewhat. It's better than it was. So what we need to do next is kind of get a look at the engine to see what we need to do to make it, to get it like turning. And I mean, it does turn, but we need to verify that the blower doesn't have shit in it, or that there's no coolant in the bottom of the crankcase, etc., etc., etc. We need to start there now that we've got it to where we think this will work. At least it's not pissing oil everywhere anymore. So let's do that. All right, so next step, what I did was I lubed this just now, sprayed it. And off camera yesterday, what I did was I lubed all these cables that go to this one and that one. So this one now does work. It's not the greatest, but it does work. Oh, no. Oh, that feels frozen. Okay, so we need to get, I think the next step's going to be get the valve cover off. Let's do that. Oh, not bad. Okay, I was expecting to fight. Oh, I can't wait to see what this looks like. I'm super scared, honestly. I'm gonna be heartbroken if this thing is all frigged up. Kinda in love with her now, boys. A little bit of Detroit trivia. I know you guys love it when I hit you with some knowledge, so everybody seems to think the easy way to tell a 53 from a 71 or a 92 is the fact that a 53 has the perimeter screw style valve cover bolts. And a lot of times that's true, but it's not always true. The Silver Series 53, which came out in 1986, has the top style bolt, 12.3/8 bolt head that go through the valve cover with the big rubber grommet, just like a 92. So just because it has the top bolts doesn't necessarily mean it's not a 53. However, it's a little loose. However, none of the other series had perimeter screw valve covers at all. So if it does have perimeter screw, it's definitely a 53. But just in case it has if you do see one with the top bolts, it could still be a 53. You're going to have to use other detective methods to decide what it is. How are we going to do this? Let's see if that'll go. Yeah. How do you get this out of here? Boy, somebody wasn't thinking this through. Really? Really? There we go. There we go. Come on, baby. Wow, that's a tight one, eh? Look at her! Sick! Oh, the data plate's beautiful.
Squirrel!
Cool. No way. No freaking way, boys. Look. Let me see if I can get up. I gotta be able to get up here so I can see and so you can see. does not appear that either injector is stuck. There we go. Friggin' sick! I would never have guessed it. Oh, gee. How did it survive and stay this nice? It had to have been indoors. Look at the frickin'... Look at the top of the injectors, boys. There's nowhere. This thing is new. Oh, gee.
Yeah, statue. Ralphie?
Look at the injector down there. I don't know if you can see it, but it's S50 is the rating. Wow. I'm just friggin' pumped. What a total nerdgasm we're having on this thing, huh? I can't get over it. It's like brand new. Closest you're ever going to see one to straight out of the factory, I'll tell you that. And it looked like I didn't have the lever all the way down, so that's why the shutdown lever wouldn't move. So we're safe there. Very happy. I thought for sure this valve cover was going to be, under the valve cover was going to be all rusty. This must have been indoors. There's a shot of your data tag. I'm hoping that's showing up for you guys. She's a Buick Clark. All right, let's get this back on there. It's a little tight, so not like it's been on there for 60 years or anything. There we go. Get some of the schmoo out of here. We don't need down in the blower. Yes, that is a shutdown. Whatever's in here is a shutdown. You can tell there's a spring-loaded thing on the back side of it. There she is. Oh, wow. You guys gotta see this. It is cool. Pipe's in good shape. Don't see anything in it. Look at that. Wow, that's cool. Check this out. So, I'm not sure if this closes that. No. Something must close it. Try not to get... Alright, let's pull that cover off because that doesn't seem to be working. Holy shit. That's cool. Okay, let's look at this here, fellas. I'll show you what we got going on. So, it appears the oil pressure must engage. I don't know. Does it engage or pull back? Freaking thing is bizarre. Never seen anything like it. Ah. Uncle Wayno says this thing is frozen, I think. Let's give her a spritz. It does go into aluminum, so it does require a little bit of care. And nobody's going to be upset with it. All right, let's go push that back in. So I think how this works is... That probably closed. Nope. Boy, I'm sure I don't know. I think that is supposed to trip. I think it's supposed to be closed right now. And you have to hold this out to start it. Which I don't know. I'm not real sure, honestly. This freaking thing is baffling. Let's see if I get on the camera here. Tripod. Go back to this view. Can y'all see that? Oh yeah. What a beautiful view. Best freaking camera guy ever. What I don't want to do is get my phalange in there. Whatever it is, it's tight, tight, tight. I'm assuming oil pressure pushes that forward, which clicks into that. But why? Oh, I see. Alright, I got it, fellas. Let's get you in here. I got this figured now. So, this is free to turn. It's supposed to be free to turn, this thing here. And then all this lever does is through the pins, rotates it back. So something, I would have bet it's aluminum corrosion, is preventing that shaft from moving. So we'll just have to continue to spritz her. I don't want to go crazy. I don't want to bend nothing, but I need some more leverage here, fellas. Yeah, I'm gonna work on freeing this thing up and go from there. Boys, you're gonna freaking love this. Look at her. Check it out, spring loaded. Springs on the back there. So once it got moving, freed up, all I did was add a little bit of heat and it started to come back to life. Once I got it free though, I did notice once it closed, that one screw was just a little loose. Thank God I checked them. So I put some blue Loctite on them. They do have lock washers, but it's 2 cycles, so it needs Loctite, I think. But yeah, now she's a ripper. Works a treat. I sprayed the cables again also over here, so they just work, oh, so nice. I mean, just about springs back in on its own. The spring resistance you feels pretty good. That one works good. It gets kind of stuck because the cable's bent, but there we go. Not the cable, but the thing's freaking good as new. So I think we'll get the cover back on that. I'll put the inlet back together. And we'll move on to cracking a drain plug and figuring out a fuel tank. Alright, fellas. Got that all buttoned up. I took the liberty of pulling them fuel ends out from underneath the engine there and snipped the excellent parts of them off. So that's all scrap. Another thing I was trying to do was get the cable squared away in the little doodly-doo there, and snap the screw off on the top of that. So I probably have one of these, so we'll just take a peek and see if I do. And if I do, I'll use that. But otherwise, we'll weld a nut to that. Try to get that screw out. That's all I've done. Alright, boys. As you can see, we got problems again. So something's going on with that where it's not holding pressure. It's inconvenient. But let's get a look at this drain plug here. See what comes out of it. Go from there. I got a wrench on it. Ugh. How's that better? You're welcome. Please don't fucking drop this. Perfect. No water. And we'll hook up our, oh God, we're gonna need another line. That's wasted. Yeah, these are both junk. That's not gonna pull a vacuum, fellas. Garbage. Let's get right rid of them. All right, let me figure out what I'm doing for lines. All right, fellas. Got our fuel tank cleaned out, mostly. But, you know, I got all these, put hoses on it. This is the one out of the generator set that went to the fuel tank in the gen, so I know it's a good line. And this was some shit I had kicking around the shop. This is a return side, so, I mean, it's fuel line, it's fine, it don't matter, there's no pressure there. But now that I'm thinking about it, I kind of want to run them into the bucket here, and then I can run the hand primer and make sure I get return flow without having a gigantic mess. So I'm going to take them back off of there for now and run them into this here jug, and we'll go from there. Oh. Holy shit. This should be backed off. It is. We got to tighten it. Like that. And then we've got
You want to have dodgeball victory, you got to grab it by its haunches and you got to pump it into submission. That's the only way.
I'm not sure how many times you gotta do this. That's friggin' wild. Make sure our injectors aren't stuck. We've been over a couple revolutions now. Frig sakes, boys, I'm out of friggin' breath. Pumping on that damn thing. Injectors appear okay. That's a lot of pumps for only like 2 revolutions, fellas. Oh, there is smoke. That's not a bad thing. Maybe the muffler wasn't helping anything. It's definitely hitting. Oh yeah, it smells like Detroit. Alright fellas, so I've been thinking about reasons why it either is hard to turn or potentially won't start. Maybe, you know, whatever. So air restriction is one, so we're going to take the, like I said, this was tripped, this air restriction gauge, so if that's the case, if that filter's actually bad and stopped up, then even though it doesn't look it, we're going to pull this inlet off of here so that the engine can breathe freely. And then second of all, I wasn't using my brain, and I kind of forgot about that. So I'm going to get that vacuumed out. See if that makes any difference. All right, fellas, we're doing a decent job. That's what it looks like in there. See if I can get you a better light. So can't really see what that is up there. I'll take a look. My phone camera here, but I'll finish cleaning out and I'll bring you back. Alright boys, well that's what was hanging down out of the thing. It is indeed a rock, gigantic one. So that's not good. Secondly, what we've discovered is whatever's remaining in there, let's see, way up in there, is like the depths of the grossest mouse nest you've ever seen. Just based on what it smells like. And I'm not trying to get hantavirus, so I'm gonna leave it alone. Alright fellas. We've got intake removed, muffler removed. I just hit the primer a few more times. All right, boys, check this out. Went down to, where'd I put it now? Here we go, sorry. Here's the O-rings that come out of it. Shredded just like the last time. Also very hard, which is weird because I just put them in. But here's what I did. I went down to local hydraulic shop. He had an O-ring with a backer ring. I left the other one in there because it didn't really look like it was bad. It's not really leaking, so we're gonna send it. And I bought a bunch of extras too, just in case. But I was thinking while I was there to ask him if we had a pressure gauge, and he did. So we snagged that and an adapter so we could put it right onto that fitting and not have to change that fitting over. So I'm gonna reassemble this and have some beer, and we'll be right back. All right, boys, we're back. We're all hooked up, installed. Let's see if that makes a difference. There we go. Jeez, it turns the motor over at only like 200 pounds. Oh, there we go. Look at that.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a...
All right, fellas. So I pulled the first spring and ball I came across out on the pressure side. And, I mean, it looks okay in there. You can't really tell, but this thing was wedged around the corner here like that, you know, down in there. And the ball was caught up in it. So I don't think that's great. Now, on the pressure stroke, I think that could have been leaking back through to the inlet side. So maybe that's half our issue. All right, fellas, got her mounted back on here. Now it makes sense to me. The pump only worked going one direction when you pulled, so I don't think that checked. That's why I think it only worked in one direction. It's supposed to be a bi-directional pump, so it should move fluid in each direction of the stroke. There we go. And you see now it's hard to move in both directions, so we got that other ball seated where it wasn't before. So now it should be half the number of strokes to get this to... Yeah, that was longer. Let's check for debris in the inlet just cause. That's a good sign. Tell you what. I'm gonna put the muffler back on it, because I don't feel like going deaf today. There's no restriction in that thing. It'll be fine. Another spritz. Nothing. So I really meant nothing. What's just happened? You gotta be kidding me. This cheesy ass bar just broke. Garbage. All right. It's not helpful at all. So, I'm going to use the Magic Hollywood to make another one of these, because this one's scrap, and I'll be back. All right, boys. We've got that repaired. I ended up just welding it back up. Let's make something happen here, shall we? Or at least try. It's only burning off that ether. Son of a bitch. That lever's backwards. Son of a bitch. I had all the fuel flow in the world now. Let's try it. Almost. I got no oil pressure, but I got oil on the top end. Awesome. Wow, and then that trips. That is so freaking cool. Is that lever over there? Wow, that's cool. Son of a bitch, it's a runner. Showing like 60 pounds of oil pressure too. right, fellas, I'm freaking pumped. So check this out. Now that when the engine runs, that pump automatically charges the accumulator, the engine pump. So we should be able to just pull this lever, which will open the blower bypass. I put the thing back on, not the bypass, but the emergency shutdown, and pull the lever, and it should fire right up. So let's see what it does. Smells like a friggin' tach. Put this back on. I don't get shit all in the oil. Just like all sorts of paint bouncing off this radiator because this is the first time it's rained in 700 years, you know? Sick, fellas. This was a total gamble, this engine. Yes! It fires right up. Why you gotta jinx me? Alright, fellas. I'm not gonna lie to you, I just want to keep running this thing. I freaking adore it. So, what I figured we'd do is, now that I know it's worth keeping, we're gonna get this cleaned out and see what the coolant looks like. Also, I have no freaking idea what this is. I've never seen one before. And it goes, this side of it is oil pressure. And the other side of it is coolant, I think. Yeah, because it goes to here. So, in the muffler, in the exhaust manifold, there's like a doohickey. I don't know what to call it. Let me show you. All right, look at this now. What is that? What the frig is that? Can you see it? What is it? What is it for? Wow, the exhaust manifold's still a little warm. Anyway, focus. That says in, doesn't it? In? What is it? Oh, that thing doesn't turn. I don't know what it is, boys. It comes back over to here, to this. I don't know what this thing is either. We'll have to look at it, but all that does is that puts oil pressure over to this thing, which is what locks out. That's why you got to hold that cable out until you get oil pressure. It holds the trap door open in the blower. And then if you lose oil pressure, it shuts off. I think this thing is made to be like abandoned. Like it looks like everything on it is like, okay, just set me out in the bush for 300 years and I'll start the next time you need me. It's wild, this freaking thing. I'm so excited to have it. I'm dying to know what this thing, what the coolant looks like. I'm petrified of it being like my generator. Ha! Freaking beautiful. Smells like coolant. Sick. Now the generator, that was schmoo. But this is probably on the factory fill of coolant still, which would have had distilled water. So I think that's what saved it. I'm pretty sure that was the issue with the gen set, was the somebody filled it with non-distilled water. They used hard water. And that just, it reacts with that green coolant over time. Boy, I'm freaking stoked. Let me clean off. I'll be back. All right, fellas. I think that's gonna do it for this video. Thanks for joining me, saving this old girl. I'm super excited. It runs like a friggin' top. So I don't know really what we're gonna do with it, other than keep it. It's mine. Not going anywhere. I'm not real good at selling things. I prefer to keep them forever. But what a friggin' sweetheart. I'm just absolutely beside myself excited that not only we could get this thing, but now it friggin' runs. And, well, I bet you it'd pump water. Thing's awfully simple to not work. So, a couple things I'm curious about. If any of you know what this whole deal is right here, I've never ever seen one in all my years of Detroiting. Goes into the thermostat housing there. Looks like the back side of it is coolant, right? And then that goes down into here. And the front side of it is oil pressure. I am sure I don't know, but if any of y'all have seen something like that and could tell me a little bit about it, I'm all ears, boys. I'd love to know. Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. Thanks to everybody who's ordered something off the website. I sure appreciate that. It helps us drag more junk like this home. And honestly, this wouldn't be possible unless this thing was friggin' scrap price, so I'm real happy it was, because it's way too cool to let go to scrap. Pumped we were able to save it. That's all thanks to you guys. I sure appreciate it. Everybody that watches, shares this kind of stuff around. And, you know, order from the website. It all helps. Every little bit helps. Thank you very much. We will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.